Hello and welcome back to my channel for another Sun-Moon combination. If you're new, my name is Lorraine, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Aries Sun with Libra Moon. I'm going to start off the video by talking about what a typical Aries Sun is like, and then I'm going to get into the moon placement and then talk about how the moon and sun probably interact and how it affects certain things. So if there's certain things about the sun description that don't quite make sense or don't quite resonate, then hang around till I talk about the moon placement and the combination, and then it will probably tie together quite nicely and make a lot of sense. So Aries Suns are very passionate, aggressive, competitive, goal-driven, loyal, energetic, and self-confident, and fiercely independent. I know of a lot of adults that like to kind of romanticize being a kid, like, oh, to be a kid again, you know, no responsibilities, don't have to pay bills, oh, wouldn't that be nice? And I am like, hell nah, hell no. Like, I don't know about others, this is my personal experience, but as a kid, like, I don't miss being a kid at all. I much prefer being an adult, even if it means I have more responsibilities and bills. I much prefer having my own independence. So, like I mentioned, Aries love their independence, and because of this, they hate being told what to do, and I think most Aries don't enjoy having a boss, or at the very least, they don't enjoy not having any kind of autonomy or leadership position at work. So if you're an Aries or you know someone that's an Aries, they're probably far happier either starting their own business or being in some kind of leadership position at work, whether that's a supervisor, manager, or the CEO, or at the very least having a job where they have some form of autonomy with their work. Aries Suns are also quite impulsive, and they kind of tend to not think through decisions a lot. They're more spontaneous, you know. They want to just, when they get an idea and they're excited about it, they just want to do adventures and they want to do stuff. They're more about action, and so they don't really think through all of the possibilities and do a lot of planning. So, and they're also not risk averse. So Aries, yeah, they don't really plan stuff or think things through a lot before jumping in head first. Now, nothing lights Aries up more than the pursuit of a goal that they're really passionate about. Like I mentioned, they're very goal-driven, and Aries are really good at starting projects, but they're not so good at finishing them. Aries has shiny object syndrome because they're so passionate and they're so excited about the start of something new. Then once they get to like the work and the in-between, and the passion wears off, and then they'll usually abandon it for some newer, more exciting goal that they're passionate about. So Aries are very good at starting, they're not very good at finishing. And Aries have very like fluctuating energy. It's because it's so much energy and so much passion like at the beginning that it's not sustainable to continue that level of energy or passion, and as a result they usually fizzle out or even burn out. And so Aries are not known for their slow, methodical, perseverant pace with things. That's definitely more of an earth sign thing. You know, they say that life is a marathon, but for Aries it's a series of sprints. So I find actually Aries can sometimes have a hard time like with being tired or burnt out all of the time, because many of us don't know how to like save energy for later and don't know how to like slow down before we get to the point where we burn out. Aries hate being controlled, and spite is definitely a powerful motivator for them. Now, Aries tell it like it is. Aries don't really beat around the bush. They cannot handle any backhanded, passive-aggressive, or fakeness from people. That's the kind of thing that really makes Aries blood boil, and sometimes they can be considered to be an asshole because Aries are just very, very blunt, and they're very to the point, and they just don't understand like why you have to be like manipulative or like beat around the bush or all those backhanded things. Like if you have something bad to say it to my face. Be upfront about it. Now, Aries are very impatient, like I mentioned, and this is also the case when it comes to things like their temper. I find Aries Aries are probably the quickest to anger of all of the 12 signs, but they also get over it really quickly. So like I mentioned, it's so much energy and passion at the beginning, and then it fizzles out like a lot quicker than some of the other signs. Now, Aries are aggressive, like I said at the beginning, and this is true. It's not always a bad thing. What I mean is that Aries are very aggressive about everything. They love aggressively, they get angry aggressively, they approach projects and ideas aggressively. They get excited and they're very aggressive about how they express their passion. Now, Aries will stick up for and defend their loved ones no matter what. Like I mentioned, they're really loyal and very passionate. And I find usually if an Aries is getting angry, a lot of the time it could be because they're defending someone that they care about. Aries also really want to see their loved ones succeed. Aries are just passionate about so many things, and they're passionate about doing what they want to do and living their life how they please, because they're the first sign of the zodiac, so they are a more selfish sign. And this isn't always a bad thing, but they are the more selfish sign in that they put themselves first. And so that can be a good thing. It can also be a bad thing depending on how healthy this person is and how evolved or unevolved they are. Now, if they're healthy, I find because they put themselves first, they're much more inclined to then be able to do that for other people. They bring that passion and that vitality to the people they care about, and as a result, I find Aries can be some of like the best cheerleaders because they want to see the people around them be as passionate and excited about life and wants to push people to be the best they can be. Aries also, I think, are known for aggressive pep talks. So my partner has been the subject of many of those. And it's because we care and we also love giving advice. Now, Aries aren't the best at dealing with other people's emotions. Now, this does depend on the moon placement as well as other factors, but for the most part, Aries in and of itself, we are not the best at dealing with people's emotions. And that's not to say that we don't care, quite the contrary, actually, but Aries, like when someone we care about comes to us to talk about a problem in their life or something that's making them upset, our knee-jerk reaction is to fix it. What can I do to fix it? We'll give advice because we think it's how we think that if something is making you upset or something is a problem, it needs to be fixed so it won't make you feel this way anymore. And it's kind of a learning curve for Aries. It definitely was for myself that sometimes when people come to you with a problem and they're talking to you about something, sometimes they just want to talk. They don't need you to fix it. They don't want your advice, even if we think they need it. Sometimes they just want to talk. And so that can be a challenging part for Aries because that's just not how we're wired. We're wired on like, let's fix this. I'll go beat up this person, like give you an aggressive pep talk. I'll give you lots of advice that you don't want. Let's make it better. So even if they're not best at dealing with the emotions or listening and just being there to console you, Aries do care. But Aries do not have a tolerance for people that just sit around and wallow and feel sorry for themselves and for a long period of time and just don't try. And they have no patience or sympathy for people who ask for advice, go against that advice, and then come back and complain about the consequences and feeling sorry for themselves. Because when we love someone, when we care about someone, us Aries, we love pushing people to be the best that they can be. And when it feels like the people we care about aren't trying, or they're not doing their best, or they're making decisions or doing things that are against their own best interests, or they ask for advice and don't follow it, we're very honest about how we feel about it. And that's not everyone's cup of tea. Because Aries, like I mentioned, they're not the ones that want to just sit and talk about your feelings. We're more like doers, action takers, and fixers. Let's, either do something to fix it, or let's do something to not think about it and shove it down. Basically, Aries are quite to the point. They don't beat around the bush, especially with the people they care about. So even if maybe sometimes your feelings get hurt, at least Aries are very honest about where you stand with them and how they feel about you. And it's because they want the same in return. Most Aries, like I mentioned, that are healthy and, I'm going to get to the unevolved aspects of Aries because I'm very aware that they exist. But when Aries are healthy and fairly evolved, They're very straight and to the point about where you stand with them and how they feel about you, because we want the same in return. It's because Aries don't like the fake or the passive aggressive stuff that goes like talking behind each other's back and then acting like everything's fine to your face and then finding out about it, like gossip and things like that. Aries don't like being on the receiving end of that, and so they're very forthcoming with being like, hey, I'm going to talk to you directly. They're not super conflict averse. That's a big thing with Aries, is they don't really shy away from conflict, especially with loved ones, because they're just, let's get it out in the open. Let's talk about it. Like, Aries are very to the point. And so they appreciate when other people are very to the point with them. So now, some of the downsides of Aries. So like you've probably picked up now, Aries are very passionate, energetic individuals. And now we get to kind of the problems that can arise from Aries. And that is, if that passionate energy does not have a proper outlet, ideally either something physical or competitive. Aries are very competitive. So if it does not have some kind of healthy outlet, it builds up, and that's what leads to the Aries stereotypes of being an asshole or hot-headed or very short-tempered, where they fly off the handle, and just because they're unable to control all of this energy and these feelings that, and this passion that has like bottled up, that they don't have an outlet for. And so I find it's not uncommon for Aries to need some form of anger management. Now, for the most part, though, Aries are very passionate individuals who are fiercely independent, and when they care about someone, they have a very direct way of showing it, and they like to push people to be the best they can be, and sometimes it doesn't come across how we mean it to. I'm recording this on a different day because I had my birthday on the 18th, and if you noticed, I got a new chair. So quickly, before I get to the moon placement, I wanted to let you know about the new Facebook group that I am starting called the Astrology Club. It's going to be really awesome. I'm going to be putting free training in there quite often. I also really want to be making transit videos. Inside the Facebook group, there's also a 2021 astrology calendar that you can download for free, basically detailing all major astrology transits for the rest of the year, going from May until the end of December. So if you would like to join the Facebook group, the link in the description. I would really love if you join, talking all about astrology. I'm also on Subscribestar now, so if you would like to support this channel financially and help me make even more content and get access to exclusive content, then a link will be in the description. Let's get back to the moon placement. So now we get to Libra Moon. So Libra Moons have a taste for the finer things in life. They love beauty, refinement, grace, and sophistication. They really love aesthetics and are more enchanted kind of about the idea of love versus the actual emotions of and the actual experience of what it's like to be in love. They kind of have a tendency to romanticize things. I find Libra and Pisces have a lot of similarities, but one is more airy about it, one's more watery, one's more emotional about it, one is a little more objective about it. So Libra they have kind of this rosy-eyed view. They love art, creativity, and just have kind of a rosy-eyed view and get enchanted about the idea of things versus what it's actually like. Now, Libra moons don't respond well to negative, rude, abrasive, or impolite people. They're very diplomatic and can get along with all kinds of people, provided those people are polite. And they tend to kind of, as a result of this, have more surface level connections, because Libra moons are about mediating, being diplomatic, like seeing that both sides have merit, and understanding both sides. And as a result of kind of always being more about mediating, they tend to kind of not really uphold any deeply rooted beliefs for themselves, because they're also very conflict averse. I feel like Libras being diplomatic kind of maybe arose from this fear of conflict, and so Libra moons really hate conflict and can sometimes be a little bit spineless. And so I feel like one of the ways they avoid this is by not having super firm opinions that they passionately defend or uphold, because that would inevitably be met with conflict of people who disagree. Libra moons are more about like calm, like enjoyment, airy flowiness versus like passion. They want romance, not passion, sort of thing. Libra and Aries are opposite, and I find the way that they are opposite is Aries is a lot more about self and like me, the individual. Libra is a lot more about other people and kind of having a herd mentality. They're focused on pretty much everyone but them. Like they're playing mediator and have kind of this holistic like herd mentality, versus Aries is more very individualistic. And so they are opposite, and so that could be really difficult when trying to balance the two. If you're able to find a balance, it could really help teach Aries to think more about other people and be more about, you know, a herd mentality. But then it also could, the Aries could balance out the Libra and help them have a little bit more of a spine and stick up for some kind of beliefs. But I do think that the Libra moon adds a avoiding of conflict behind Aries, and also kind of dampens down that Aries passion and that bluntness and that kind of brashness that Aries is known for, because you have the Libra moon, which is a lot more airy, and it's in the moon placement. So this person is definitely not getting worked up and have that temper like a typical Aries would. They're a lot more, you know, flowy, let's get along, live and let live. So if you're wondering which one wins out, like, is it going to be more Aries passion or is Libra moon going to win out? Like, basically a couple of things it depends on is if you were born during the day or at night. If you were born during the day, you probably relate to your Aries moon a little more, and I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of wins out sometimes and you're a little more Aries like. On the other hand, if you were born at night, you probably relate to your Libra moon a little more, and so wouldn't be surprised if that kind of wins out. You also have to look at the houses. What houses were these signs in? If you have your Aries Sun in the 7th house, when you're in a relationship or a close partnership with one person, that's probably more where your Aries comes out. If you're in the 4th house, if your moon is in the 4th house, which is impossible when you're using whole sign houses because these signs are opposite, but bear with me here. If your moon is in the 4th house, then that's more about family and roots, home life, that kind of thing. So then that's probably more where your Libra moon expresses itself more and comes out. So those are kind of things to look at when you're thinking about like what is like conflicting. So whether you're born at day, at night, or what houses these are in. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel. I'm almost able to get my channel monetized, and so I would really appreciate the subscribes as well as the watch time. So if there is content that you would like me to make, please comment below and let me know, and I will do my best to make it. And if you want to join the Astrology Club, a link will be in the description. I hope to see you there. That's all for now. Take care.